Howdy folks, welcome back to my World of Tanks replays with the Mighty Jingles, and it's about time I did a proper garage review of this little beauty, the Panzer IV, the German Tier 5 medium tank. I can remember when I first started playing the game, anytime I saw any of these on the opposite team, I crapped my pants, because these things were just killers. And they still are, and with the new 7.5 Matchmaker, they're even better. So let's have a quick look at the stats and then we'll talk about the tank itself. 460 hit points, tier 5 medium tank, fairly respectable amount of damage. It can take a respectable amount of damage. Bearing in mind that the T-34, the M4 Sherman, Russian and American equivalent at tier 5, do around 100 damage per hit, so you can take a couple of hits on this thing and still keep rolling. Weight, 30.6 tons with my setup. And it does have a 440 horsepower engine, so the power to weight ratio isn't too bad on this thing. Specific power 14.38. Now, if you were to look at, for example, the T-34, which is a good tank, you'll see that the power to weight ratio on that 17.13. It does have better acceleration, no question about it. You go to the Sherman, and you'll see 15.07. So while the German tank has the lowest power to weight ratio of the tier 5 medium tanks, it's still not bad. It can do up to 48 kilometers per hour. Now in practice you will struggle to hit that 48 kilometers per hour, but you'll get up to 14 no problem. Having the lowest power to weight ratio, it is going to struggle more going uphill than the Sherman and certainly the T-34 does, but it's no slouch. It is a relatively quick, mobile, medium tank. Speaking of mobility, hull traverse isn't bad at all, 34 degrees per second. When it's going at full speed, it does have a kind of a large turning circle, but it can pivot on the spot, which is something that not a lot, that a lot of medium tanks cannot do, which is very handy. Armour-wise, it's not bad. It has 80mm at the front, which isn't terrible, although that 80mm is pretty much, it's not contiguous. It's 80mm at the most. This bit here isn't 80mm. That bit there is, but that's also where the weak spots are, the machine gun port and the driver's hatch. Not the driver's hatch, the driver's port. Fairly good sloping on this bit of hull at the front here. But what that probably means is that if a shot hits that, it's going to ricochet off and hit this big flat frontal plate here where the radio operator and the driver sit. But it's not terrible armour, and if you angle it, it does work quite well to bounce shots from tier 4 or lower tank guns, and can afford you some protection from the tier 5 tank guns as well. The turret, however, the upgraded turret, the Schmalturm, this is what made this thing so dangerous, and for two reasons. One, it's got 120mm of armour on the front plate of the turret, and there is some sloping on it, not a lot, but there is some. Sides and rear, 60mm, 60mm. From the front, hull down, in its tier, this thing is very, very hard to kill. And the other good thing about that turret is it allows you to mount that gun, which is what makes this tank into the monster on the battlefield that it is. Speaking of the turret, the drawback of having this big old armoured turret is the traverse speed. It does turn quite slowly, 20 degrees per second. But German tank, good view range, 370 metres, and very good radio, 710 metres. But what makes this tank special is the selection of guns. And as you can see, oh boy does it have a lot to choose from. Unfortunately, the first four are utter rubbish. Sorry, but they are. That's crap, that's crap, that's crap, that's crap. The 105mm howitzer and the 75mm L70 are the two guns that we're interested in. So we'll have a look at the research tree, and yep, you're going to be spending a lot of experience fully eliting the Panzer IV, but it will be worth it, trust me. Now, speaking of the two guns that are worth getting, as opposed to the four, that one, and that one, that aren't, you have to get the Schmalturm turret in order to fit these two guns. Now, a lot of people are going to be tempted to just go to the 75mm L48 and then skip straight to the VK3601 or the 3001P. Please don't do that. You will regret it. This is one of the best tanks in its tier in the game. You must research that turret. You must get that gun. And here's why. The rate of fire is really good. Between 10.5 and 13.3 rounds per minute. It's a very, very... I mean, it's nowhere near as fast as the 76mm gun on the M4 Sherman. It's not as fast, not even near as fast as the 57mm ZIS-4 gun on the T-34, but it's a good solid rate of fire. Where it does have its advantages are in 3 places. 1, penetration, 138mm, that's really good. Damage, 135 damage, respectable amount of damage. But it's the accuracy, 0.35 accuracy. Oh, that is not bad at all. And this is where the Panzer IV is basically the first German tank where you really start to taste the accuracy of the German guns. The aiming time isn't great, but it's not bad either. We can live with 2.3 seconds. As you can see, you're going to be using this gun on a whole lot of tanks. So you really, really want, because this is the first time you're going to get your hands on it, research this gun when you're on the Panzer IV, because you're going to be using it on the... at first you're going to be using it on the Tiger, you're going to be using it on the Panther, the 3601H, 3001H, 3002DB, 3001P, Panther II. You know, this gun just fits nearly every German tank, medium, and some of the heavy tanks in the game. It's a fantastic gun. Get it researched. And it was because of that turret and this gun that I used to crap my pants whenever I saw this thing in a tier 5 or even a tier 6 game. It is really, really capable of looking after itself, this tank. Now, equipment. Well, again, I just have these spare camo nets all over the place, so I plonk them on just about every tank I can get. Medium caliber tank gun rammer, definitely want one of those on this thing. It does have the slowest rate of fire of any of the tier 5 mediums, but it's not slow. And if you can make it any faster, by all means go for it. If you're going to keep this tank, and I highly recommend you do, because it's an incredibly good tier 5 moneymaker, spend a bit of cash on it, put some investment into it, get yourself a medium caliber tank gun rammer. I've also fitted improved ventilation just to get that loading time and the aiming time down a little further. The third slot, well, I've stuck a camouflage net on there purely because I had a load of them spare. But you couldn't really go wrong with an enhanced gun lane drive. 2.3 second aiming time isn't bad, but it could be better, and that helps. Coated optics, not a terrible idea. It does have a very good view range, but any advantage you can get is always useful. I don't know if it's worth 500,000 credits though. I think you probably get more value out of the enhanced gun lane drive. Anything else? Well, additional grousers. You don't get this choice on many tanks, and it is the least mobile of the tier 5 medium tanks, while not being slow by any stretch of the imagination. And if you fitted additional grousers, and they are relatively cheap compared to some of the other equipment modules, 250,000 credits as opposed to 500,000. Extra performance on soft ground, which is, most of the game, not a bad idea. But I think out of everything, rather than the camo net, what you get the most value out of would probably be the enhanced gun lane drive. But, your mileage may vary. Crew skills, well, I've had this a while, and I play it more than most of my other tanks, or have done. So I've got Brothers in Arms for extra 5% crew skills on all of my crew. I've gone with, on the Commander, Recon, just for a little bit of extra view range. Camouflage, view range, camouflage. These were old choices. I just like not being seen, because that gun on this tank turns it into a sniper, and the first rule of sniping is don't get shot back. And you don't normally find people have camouflage on medium tanks, which does kind of give it a slight advantage, and coupled with the very good view range and the view range enhancing skills, I find it just allows me to get that first shot off, and with that gun you're going to cripple whatever you shoot, and that's why I've gone with the crew skills that I have gone with. I mean, you could certainly stick, let's have a look, snapshot, not a bad idea for the gunner. For the driver, off-road driving, not a bad idea. Clutch braking, not a bad idea. These are all good skills. I wouldn't go with smooth ride. It's an accurate gun. It ain't that accurate when you're moving. And even, what's the skill called? Nope. yeah, even Smooth Ride isn't going to improve it that much. Well, it's not going to improve it enough. Radio operator, loader, generally speaking, repairs or camouflage. For my radio operator, I've gone with situational awareness, just give them that little bit extra view range, and enable me to get the first shot off, because I tend to play this thing more as a sniper, and that just fits the way I play it. But I've got a couple of replays lined up for you, so let's see this little baby in action. So I've had a couple of games in the Panzer IV today. Some of them good, some of them not so good, some of them great. Here we are on Live Oaks. I do like this map. Panzer IV, not such a good street fighting machine, although it can do it, but you're going to take a beating. It's much, much better if you can get yourself into the position to be shooting from range, where you can put that accuracy and penetration and damage of this gun to far, far better use than trading shots against Shermans and Easy 8s around, the corners of city streets. So if I get the chance, something with a good accurate gun and a good view range, this is where I generally like to go on Live Oaks. You do need something pretty quick as well. So we've got a T25, Tier 5 Premium up there. Quite happy to let him go ahead and run into targets for me. And I'm going to skirt around to the side here. Staying low. They've got a couple of... Well, they've got a T50. Panzer 38 NA, not that great a Tier 4 Scout. T50's pretty good. And I just, don't give them the chance to spot you. T25's rushing ahead, so with any luck, he will start lighting up targets for me. And there's the T50. And nah, not going to. Unless he pokes his nose up, I ain't going to shoot. Oh, hello. What's he doing? Right, there's more than just the T50 shooting at that T25. He's taken far too many hits. Now, that 45 damage he took there would have been the T50, but those are the big hits. Tell me that there is something much bigger and nastier than a T50 lurking over the other side of that railway line. So this is the spot I like to head for. So you've got a nice clean field of fire, you have some cover. Let's just see what we can see. Oh, here comes the T50.
That's gotta hurt.
And there goes almost half his health. There goes almost the other half of his health. Where's he gone? It's an Easy 8 over there. Where'd that T50 go? Okay, oh god, right, we're losing 4-1. T25 charged off ahead without support, got himself killed. God knows what's happened to the rest. Oh, there's a T50. I'm not going to let him get away with it. There, one kill. T49, 2-shot kill.
We nailed it back.
Under normal circumstances. Oh, not quite. Okay, well, we pretty much killed him. Didn't get the credit for it though. Doesn't matter, he's dead. Starting to claw it back a little. We're still losing 3-4. Now there was an Easy 8 over there. Oh, there he is. It's going to be a dodgy shot. Nah, sailed over the top of his turret. Okay, so there's a Stug and a Slugger shooting at this guy. And now me coming around the flank. He shouldn't have much of a chance here. Oh, didn't wait for that one to aim. Paid the price. That was a good hit though. Now his gun does fire faster than mine. But he has all sorts of other problems to worry about. Great, now we're losing 4-7. So at this point, normally, I'd be carrying on, rolling into their base, killing their artillery. But look at the map. And look at the scores. And something tells me I'm going to be needed back at our base very, very soon. And I just couldn't finish this Panzer IV off. Now he's on such low health, I think our artillery gets him. Yeah, he does. And that slugger is pushing on alone, regardless of the drastic situation back at our base. And he's going to achieve the square root of absolutely nothing by himself down there. And again, using the terrain as cover, there's no reason to expose yourself unnecessarily. Right, this is going to be tricky. Penetrating the KV-1S from the front at 400 meters. Well, he has no idea where I am. Well out of his view range. And I don't think I'm going to be able to save our artillery. He's out of line of sight. Oh, he's popped up. And that's more like the kind of shot.
Looks like that one went right through.
And the Stug finishes him off, but now there's only 4 of us left. Oh, we get another one. 3001p finishes off a KV-1. Well, we're losing 711. And of course that slugger managed to get himself killed alone with no backup. It's almost as if you could see it coming. So we're split up here. Now that Stug's a good player, so I've got him covering this side. We've got a medium and a heavy in the town, but they're probably pretty beaten up. I have no idea what sort of health they're on. They're outside my radio range. Oh. Trying to destroy his cover, but that building isn't destructible. So I need to get off this open field. What I'm trying to do here is head over that road, because I can keep my lower hull covered up there, but this guy's just too juicy a target to pass up. But it's a very, very narrow gap between those two buildings, and I just couldn't get him. And then I hear shots from behind me, and whoa, oh great, another Panzer IV. I'm not actually watching where I'm driving. I'm trying to back up and get myself over this road so I can use the high ground of the road as cover. And I'm not watching where I'm going. Uh-oh. Okay, well I don't want to expose my big fat side to that other Panzer IV by just turning. So I'll use this building as cover and I'll get down into the lower ground there where all they can effectively hit is my turret. That's the plan, but there's only 3 of us left. Now there's only 2 of us left. So, I mean, I'll do what I can. And, oh, a Stug. Okay. Now, I don't know what he's doing here. He was actually safe. And now I can no longer see him. But he doesn't move. There we go. Killed him. Fortunately, because that Panzer can see me, the entire enemy team can see me. And I only have 16 shots left of armour piercing. So I need to keep moving in case Artie's trying to close the distance. Try to use this scrub as a bit of soft cover as well, just to break line of sight. So the problem being the guys on my left can put shots through the front, the side of my turret, even though the front of my turret is well armoured. If that KV-1S has got a 122mm gun, and he has. And here it comes. Now there's an Su-85 over there as well as the Panzer IV. Oh god, I'm screwed. They're all shooting at me. Loader's dead. Viewfinders are knackered. They've just killed the Stug. I'm the only one left alive. And not for much longer. And of course, a fraction of a second after I waste a repair kit, spend 3,000 credits, artillery was just moving forward and wipes me out. And if I hadn't died, I'd have gotten a Confederate. So 600 XP defeat. You get a lot of those on the Panzer IV. It's a good machine, but at mid tier, not like at low tier, you can only do so much. It's not like running around in Armada where you can, finish off the entire enemy team single-handed, depending on how stupid they are. You can do well in a tier 5 medium, but it ain't that much better than the other tanks around you with 100% crew and modules fitted, because now everybody else has 100% crews and they're fully researched and they've got modules fitted, so it's a bit more of an even playing field. But even with a completely incompetent team, with the exception of that Stug driver and that KV-1S driver in the town, who pretty much held the town for the first 10 minutes of the game, but the rest of the team are just utterly useless. And there's only so much you can do. But if you find yourself on a halfway competent team and you're any good in a Panzer IV, you can have a fantastic game. So in this one, it was all pretty much medium tanks, light tanks and tank destroyers. Quite a fair bit of artillery. Only one heavy tank per side. And, well, the KV-1 isn't a terrible tank, but the T1 heavy tank is a terrible tank. But you don't really start playing heavy tanks until you get to tier 7. The tier 5 and 6 heavies are not much of a threat to equivalent tier mediums. I will quite happily take the Pepsi challenge against a KV-1 or a T1 heavy tank in a Panzer IV any day of the week. So we are pretty much the most dangerous thing in the game. So this should be good. Now, here's that view range. And accuracy.
Nice shot.
At play.
That's gotta hurt.
Oh, Stug gets away. Okay. No, I did not expect that Lucas to stop.
Looks like that one went right
But,
through.
it would be rude not to take advantage of it.
Finished him off.
Lux can be a very, very hard target to hit if he keeps moving. But you notice these guys have got the big turret and the 50mm gun,
Nailed him bad.
which slows them down considerably. And then
Got him.
they stop in the middle of an open field to exchange fire with the Panzer IV. Not the smartest Lux drivers you've ever known. Oh, and there's that Stug
He's gone. Find another target.
that we couldn't finish off earlier. He very, very generously decided to expose himself to further Panzer IV fire. So, 2 minutes into the game, 3 kills. Now, those weren't the only things I saw running around this flank, and, well, yep, looks like you're going to have to do it all yourself. Nobody else has gone round to protect this flank. So, Panzer IV and a Panzer 38T.
We nailed it bad.
Oh, blew my tracks off.
Lost the track.
Watch this accuracy.
Enemy is hit. Got him.
Track repaired. And I am not worried about 38T. Especially one on 18% health.
They're knocked out.
5 kills. I don't see... Whoa! Sneaky little bugger. He was obviously hoping we were just going to drive past. And then his nerve failed him at the last moment. Whoa, totally did not see him there. There's a guy with some good camo skill. But yeah, he had no choice. I would have passed well within 50 metres of him coming down this road, so he had no choice but to try and kill me, and managed to not even hit me. Don't know how that's possible. But I'm not complaining. So, 6 kills, Top Gun. Could get a Bolter's medal out of this. fucking kill that other Panzer IV or that Hetzer. Now this is what actually trips me up in this game. I mean, I'm not going to spoil it for you. It's actually pretty funny. It's another little of my derp moments. Well, I know where their artillery's going to be. It's going to be on top of that. Yeah, there he is, top of the hill. Okay, so I ain't going to get the SU-26 from here, and I'm probably not going to get the Hetzer or the Panzer IV, not looking at where they are and what's coming around to get them. There goes the Panzer IV, the Hetzer's on about 30 health. Now, the thing about the Bolter's Medal is you get Bolter's Medal for killing 7 or more of the enemy team. But they have to be tier 4 or higher. And an SU-26 is tier 3. And I forget that. Now, I am thinking to myself, well, I can probably take one hit from this SU-26. He only has 60 odd millimeters of penetration, and
Viewfinder knocked down. We can hardly see anything. Looks like that one went
I
right
forget how quickly these things reload. It gets me. You little bugger. Well, yeah, fair enough. Can't really complain. I was so greedy for the kill there. I just killed myself. And he gets another one. So, you know, this SU-26 driver did well. How many kills did he end up getting? 4 kills. I mean, he almost got Top Gun himself. And I just tunnel vision. I thought, oh, Bolter's Medal. I was never going to get Bolter's Medal. He's only tier 3. He has to be tier 4 or better. And he ended up killing me anyway. So, well done to him. Bit of a derp moment for me. But all the same, I'll settle with 6 kills, 6 detected and 1 damaged. That's not bad at all. And of course, posthumous Top Gun. Idiot that I am. So should have survived that game. I mean, until that point, I'd only taken 1 hit. So, 22 shots fired, 18 hit the target. It's an accurate gun. We took 4 hits. 1 of them bounced. The last 2 hits we shouldn't ever have taken under any circumstances. But we were so desperate for that kill, and we paid the price. But as you can see, 3,200 doubled, so that's a 1,600 XP game in a tier 5 vehicle. And we earned 37,500 credits. And even though we were fully destroyed, repairs are only 2,800. These things are so cheap to repair and run. The ammunition costs are cheap, and they earn a lot of money. They don't have any special credit multiplier. They just kill lots of things, so they earn money, because that's how you earn money in this game, by killing enemy tanks. And the Panzer IV is really, really good at doing it. One of my all-time favourite tanks, one of my most played tanks. I don't have... You see people who have 1,000 games on this tank and 1,000 games on that tank. I'm not like that. I get bored if I play one tank more than a couple of games in a row. That's why I've got a lot of tanks in the garage. If I get bored of playing something, I'll leap onto something else. But there are certain tanks that I always keep coming back to. Panzer IV is one of them, and I've got more games on the Panzer IV than the majority of most of my tanks, because it's just so good. And I've had it for so long, and I'm never getting rid of it. So that was the Panzer IV, the Tier 5 German medium tank. Incredibly good tank, as are all of the Tier 5 medium tanks. They all just have their own character. Hope you enjoyed the replay, and I'll catch you next time.